given to His Excellency the President over the years. His Excellency, yes, has good ideas, has good programs, but without support, he cannot implement them alone. One person cannot implement programs. You have to have a dedicated people, a committed people, honest people, like the Secretary General has said, people with a positive change of attitude, pro-developmental in nature, for development to happen. And that is what His Excellency the President wishes to see in the Gambia. He would have wanted us to be somewhere else by now. But unfortunately, even with the resources being there, sometimes because of our attitudes, sometimes we are derailed a little. And that's why we cannot achieve some of the development aspirations that we set for ourselves. When His Excellency the President and colleagues started the whole process when they were in a council form then and uniformed, what he told us was they were soldiers with a difference and a government with a difference then. Many people doubted, but over the years I think it's clearer now that indeed this is a leadership with a difference. Because we are beginning to see the results on the ground. As I'm talking to you now, we know how the Gambia is revered internationally, globally. Anytime we talk about good examples of leadership, a new breed of African leaders, we look up to the Gambia. And that tells us something. But as I said, that has to resonate in all levels. It cannot be just at the level of a president. A president alone cannot do much. He requires the support of people who have a similar attitude, similar commitment, a similar sense of direction, and love for their country, patriotism, for our development process to lead us where we want it to be. He's the captain, yes, like Dr. Imba has said, but in a ship you require the crew as well. You require those people to make it happen. The engine room requires somebody. Starboard and elsewhere, of course, the captain would lead us to safer shores on condition that everybody plays their role. And when I'm saying playing our role, it's not only us ministers here who are the political heads of those ministries and give political direction as given to us by His Excellency the President, but indeed we are talking about beyond cabinet. We also have our permanent secretaries who are the administrative heads of our ministries. And in fact, we need them more than ever before. Because now we have a challenge and time cannot wait. We are behind schedule and we have to be on time to reach the development objectives and aspirations of His Excellency the President as the main visionary, of course. And we can do that. In the last 3 days, we were like one family here. That's the sort of family he expects. He said it. Dr. Ba said it in his opening address. Please, let's avoid camps. Let's not undermine each other. Let's put each other together, because some of us might be ahead of others. Some of us are ahead, others are behind. We cannot be the same, in the same meter band. We can't. Some are opportune to have had a vast experience in various things. Hey, look, I can be the head of the ministry, but my permanent secretary might be more capable than I am. I just happen to be there. So I have to realize my weakness, look back to my permanent secretary and other experts in my ministry, even at departmental level, for the sake of the ministry, for the sake of the country. Because you see, all of us are components of one big developmental program. And all those components must fit together. And all of them must work together for us to be where we are. If one pulls back a little, if you don't pull them ahead, we can't move ahead. So that is critical. So that's why these fora are very important, because today, at least even in the previous 3 fora as well, and retreats, and this 4th one, we've seen that we are interrelated. No sector can move ahead without the other. I always used to say, they say social, economic is more important than social, or social more important than economic. I said, no. All of us are important. All of us are interrelated. In social, you see economic. In economic, you see social. And together, we make development happen. And we've also been told by His Excellency the President, and we've realized that his love for people, we've seen it. He got a first mandate, the 4th mandate, not just because of the development process, but in addition, the concern he has for individual Gambians. What he is doing for Gambians generally. All of it, we never see it in this development blueprint. The number of people taken abroad for treatment. Do you see that in any of the development blueprints here? You don't. The number of scholarships given out, maybe unless education, basic education and higher education reported, you won't see it. The sort of assistance he gives, TFM has said it, to people generally. He's a generous person. And that's why Gambians don't want to do away with him. They're saying, no, we've not had enough of you. You're going to stay here with us for many more mandates. That's what the Gambians are saying. It's the Gambians who spoke, you know, and that has to be respected. But like I said, they have a lot of hope in His Excellency the President and his development aspirations. And yes, we've achieved so much in our vision. We've been like 11 years now through the vision, and we have 9 more years to go. So we have a lot more to do. Because you told, His Excellency, you know, his peg is very high up there. He said, you remember when he said he wanted a developed country, for us to reach a developed country level by 2020, we appealed to him and said, no, no, please, Your Excellency, let's make sure we are a middle income country. Because we know where we are. We are not as fast as you are. Even if you have put all the resources together, we cannot, whilst you are running, we are sort of walking. So, but we'll try. We'll do a fast walk, but it's difficult to catch up with you. But please allow us to be at middle income country level by 2020. And he agreed. So, but we cannot be anywhere below that. We cannot afford to fail him. The expectations are high. We cannot afford to fail the Gambian people because their hopes are high. And time is of the essence. So I'm appealing. We just launched, His Excellency the President launched the Program for Accelerated Growth and Employment. Because today these are the 2 challenges in the world, even in the big economies. It's growth and it's employment that are challenges. People are becoming unemployed all over. Even Africans in the diaspora want to look inwards and come home because there are no jobs out there. So it's very difficult. It's a very trying world, a turbulent world in which we live. But in that turbulence, I always say there's hope because there are pockets of success, and Gambia is one of them. And the world is looking up to the Gambia. We are sort of the eyes now, the mirror, and we cannot afford to fail because they know we have the leadership. They know we can do it under his leadership, and I'm sure all Gambians would come on board and support His Excellency the President and his development aspirations to move us through. I've seen a lot of progress. I've seen the first retreat, the second retreat, the third. I think today we are catching up. We are getting the message. Because when we listen to all the presentations, His Excellency is proud of all of us. He knows that we've made inroads, but like I said, he says we have to try by all means and achieve the aspirations as we set for ourselves. All of us came up with strategies that we plan to do up to the end of this month and how much of it we have done and what we are going to carry forward. And all of us have come up with, of course, development challenges in the way, be it in the form of human capital to do the job, or financial resources, or other forms of resources. And really, His Excellency the President always says, it's not the resources that matter. Even finance, when they say it, I'm always afraid. But they are saying it. They said it's not the resources as much as how much you can achieve with the resources you have. Once you convince our development partners and the Minister of Finance that we have a high absorptive capacity for the implementation of our programs, we have no doubt in my mind we can convince our development partners, we can convince His Excellency the President to put in more resources. I have no doubt resources might not be the only critical issue here, but an issue of commitment, an issue of implementation, so that some of the things we highlighted here should not be resurfacing all the time. I can start with myself. The Expected Quota Allocation Board, we've been told that we must ensure that Gambians are employed. Of course, it's not only us, but we must ensure with our partners here, because we work with 2 different ministries. But at the same time, each one of us have programs that must ensure that they lend support to the creation of employment. Sometimes they say, oh, you are social sector, you may not employ anyone. We do. Because we build the human capital, and you need really a skillful and healthy human capital for employment. So we are contributing, in effect, to the employment process. And some of them are still employing. Teachers are being employed by basic education, for example. That's employment. Volunteers, that's employment. So these are the sort of things we are talking about. Let's lend support to what we say we are. When they say Vision 2020, we all see ourselves in the vision. That's why my colleague is always quoting Rwanda. That's why the Asian tigers are where they are today. because they place development in their, first of all, in their socio-cultural